Hi, I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. I'm back from a few days away, and a week ago I added honey supers onto these hives. Well, some of these hives, about 8 of them, in the hope that we may be continuing with the honey flow this year. By this week, last year, this is the 9th of July. By now, the honey flow was over by almost a week last year. So I put some honey supers on in the hope that they will still need room for honey. And we're back here now, and the signs are promising. The bees are still very busy. There's very little bearding, a little tiny bit of congregation of bees in the entrance, but it's only just after 9 in the morning. But the bees are busy at 9 in the morning. Actually, I think there was more bearding here last week than there is now. Bees are nice and busy, fanning, hopefully curing honey. The signs are good that they're putting honey in some of these honey supers, and that the others who did not need one last week might need one this week. So let's have a look. I will go and get my hive tool, see if I can do without the smoker, and then get started. Start off looking at this hive. Say last week, 1 week ago today, there was absolutely nothing in these honey supers. I see some bees, but I don't see much happening, to be perfectly honest. We have some honey in it. Not a lot. I don't see any white wax. So I'd say if we have a flow, it's a very mild one. At least that's based on the evidence of one hive. Let's look at a few others. Nothing really going on. The bees are up here, but there's no white wax at all. They're starting to occupy it. I suspect there's a little bit of honey in this frame, next to nothing in the others. It certainly smells of honey. There's about a pound in this frame. And I did bring some other equipment, so I'm going to put in there a cover on here. Now this is a little different. Just shows what a difference in population makes. This is a much stronger colony, and there is some white. There is some new wax being built there. Maybe smoke would have been a good idea. But we have edges of white wax here. So that's really promising. You get the smoke. So there's certainly been some building going on in here. May not be a lot, but obviously the stronger the hive, the more likely you are to have some honey in it. Honey flow. And this is got a good 2.5 pounds of honey. You can see they've drawn the comb out a bit further. Nice white comb that they've drawn out with. So this colony is coming along nicely. Probably got 20 pounds of honey in this box. Judging by the entrance of this hive, this was also pretty strong. Plenty of bees. Bees occupying 7 out of 9. Let's go for this one here. There's no honey, most honey over here, but let's go somewhere in between. Not a great deal. They're building. They're storing honey here, building some white wax there. So there's a mild flow on. Now remember also, they'll be filling up the brood chambers with honey as well. So there's enough here to keep the bees doing something. I say it's only been a week. At a time when there was nothing being produced last year. So I'm not complaining. This doesn't look like it's got the population. No, they're not really up here. They're nearly empty. But maybe this week they will have the population. The population are growing in these hives all the time. Let's have a quick look at those hives over there, and we'll put some honey supers on the others. Bees up there, not a great deal of white, not a great deal being stored. Well, that's nice. That's filling up the honey nicely. And I will put a proper lid on this hive as well. Some going on in there. And a bit going on here. Not a huge amount, but some. Good. Okay, we'll see if these need some honey supers on. Very nice. Designer cover. There's certainly no need for a second honey super on them, unfortunately. Well, these are seconds, I suppose. We don't need a third one on them. That's the way to go. If we'd had a big honey flow, they would have been building these combs out faster, but these brood chambers are not getting built out super fast now. There's a honey flow, but it is not a strong one, very light one. But it's better than none, that is for sure. So I've only managed to put on one or two more honey supers. There's a slight flow. I came with relatively more than I needed. This is what they're on. It's on the white clover. And there's some sweet clover around. But we're not getting that much of a honey flow. Hopefully it'll continue for another couple of weeks, but it's certainly better than having to feed them. Let's go on to the next yard, see how we're doing there. And we're at the Bengal yard now. They don't look quite as busy as they look in the Good Shepherd Food Bank yard, but they are flying. These colonies are, of course, considerably smaller than those at the Good Shepherd Food Bank yard, with a few notable exceptions. Those notable exceptions are pretty amazing. It's probably the biggest hive I've had for quite some time there. It's got two mediums as a brood chamber, plus 3 deeps, and then 3 more medium honey supers. A fair amount of honey's been accumulated during June, but let's see what's been happening in July during this last it's about 6 days since I was here. There's a number of colonies which are just getting to the stage where they're ready for a honey super. So we will have a look at those. I'm also going to transfer a couple of nucs. I've got a few empty spaces, so I brought a few nucs with me for filling my last spots here. But let's see how some of these are gone. If there's anything in some of these honey supers, I would be very, very surprised. But let's have a quick look anyway. These colonies were only small. Have a look at these two. Not even in it yet. I knew I was putting these on a bit early. just in case. Few bees in them, but really they're still occupying the brood chamber. Now, it's all about how many bees you've got. So, for example, this colony had a few bees. So I'll have a quick look and see if we have bees in here. I believe this is a new honey super. We've got bees in this. Some, not many. Not much going on. I don't think we've had a honey flow to speak of at all up here. This was another colony with some strength to it. And I added a super to. No, hardly even up here. And one other, we'll have a look at that really tall hive, which had by far and away the biggest population. I'll have a look and see if there's anything in that top super, because I added that top super. Can't even look in it, it's not that tall. Full of bees. They've had a little bit. There's some signs of a honey flow in that one, considering they're also putting honey in all those other boxes. There's a little bit of white comb on the top. I'd be surprised, they're probably putting honey in 4 frames in this hive. So there is a honey flow around, or the colony is strong enough to access it. Here's something interesting. We're in the middle of a field here, middle of Maine. And what do you find in the middle of Maine in a field? Blueberries. Lots of blueberries. Lots of little blueberries here, look at this. They were certainly well pollinated here. I should come over here with a bucket. Nice load of blueberries. That's when you live in Maine. Okay, I'll close this up. I'll have a look around the yard to see if we need to put any more honey supers on, if there's any colonies that are big enough for it. I doubt it, but who knows. So there's a bit of nectar around. What I will do is go around this yard Go through the small hives and leave the lids off any that appear to need have room for another box. To them. Problem with leaving empty hives alone for a bit. These have been ready for a new nuke for a little while. Get the odds going in. Okay, let's put nukes in these too. These are not really completed nucs, but I wanted them out of my Hamden yard. So they're moving now. Making some room for my other nucs in my Hamden yard that I'm going to make with my queen cells. Oh. Another nuc to install here. So there may not be much of a honey flow here, but still got frames of honey which have been here for weeks, which the bees haven't robbed out. And if there had been no honey flow, those frames would have been robbed out in a couple of days. So it's not as if they couldn't find it. So they must be finding some other food here. one honey super, put in 3 nucs. That's it. So not a lot going on. I've added 1 honey super, put in 3 nucs to get them out of my Hamden yard and into this yard. And that's add another honey super in the other yard. So this stuff is still staying in the back of the truck. That's sad. You always come out here with hope that you may have a big honey flow on, but not this time. So not a great deal on at the moment. There's a small honey flow, but with small hives you can't really take advantage of a light honey flow. My biggest hives are able to take advantage of it, but the smallest hives, well, they'll just have to wait until they get bigger and hope for a goldenrod honey flow in the fall. I'm Peter Cowan, the Bee Whisperer. See you next time.